It's Tuesday, December 9th, 2014. I'm Rem.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geeknights. Tonight, Wizard. Behold his power.
Nah.
Let's do this. AKA the breakout game for Geeknights at PAX Australia, but we'll get to that. So, I've been, it's been mostly animation season for me. So I've been watching a lot of cartoons and things lately, and I have been playing a lot of games, but I've mostly just been playing Smash Brothers and CounterStrike.
I've been playing a lot of games.
And a lot of tabletop.
I played the South Park game, which
I
gotta finish
keep
that.
forgetting to get that and
Well,
play
you missed
it.
the sale. I don't know if it's worth paying full price.
Yeah, I'll get it somehow.
I got a lot of 3DS action going on.
I got a lot of 3DS action going on, a lot of Smash Brothers going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. So
No, just Smash Brothers.
there's NES Remix, P-Cross E5,
Picross.
P-Cross.
Yeah. Those games, my feelings about them are the same way you feel about Myst in terms of like how much fun it is as a game.
Myst isn't that bad.
No, Myst is okay? You're fine with Myst?
I mean, this Myst has.
Are you fine with Sudoku and crossword puzzles?
I mean, Picross is just better Sudoku.
So you're fine with Sudoku. You're fine with that.
Well, Sudoku is just really bad compared to P-Cross.
How so?
It's way, way easier and less fun.
So
But
how
it's
is
basically the same. Mathematically, it's the same deal.
But you have fun playing Picross?
Yeah, when you do Picross, like at the end, see, when you finish a crossword puzzle, right? Crossword puzzles, at least, you have some trivia and maybe you learn some knowledge, right? Knowledge-based.
Yeah.
Sort of like Scrabble, right? And Sudoku, it's like, okay, Sudoku's like, brain exercise. But when you finish your Sudoku, what do you have? A box full of numbers. Picross is also sort of a math exercise, just like Sudoku is. Except when you finish a Picross, first of all, Picross is better, especially because you get really big, crazy ones that are way more complicated and harder than any Sudoku. But when you finish a Picross, there's a picture that is revealed. It's like, yay, it's a turtle. Yay, it's Mario.
Great, a pixelated monochromatic turtle.
Hey, but and if you play it in the DS, it turns into a color turtle.
But you didn't make that color playing Picross.
There is actually the 3DS version doesn't have it, but there are color Picrosses.
No, why don't you play those?
Because they're not on the 3DS.
Yeah, but honestly, lately I've been pretty much playing Counter-Strike, and while there is definitely an old man limit to my ability to click heads, I am getting better again.
You click one head.
I'm doing okay. Like, it's interesting because I'm getting to the point to where when I play on pubbies, occasionally someone good will join, but usually now I'm either the best person on the server or at least I'm the best person on my team.
Mm-hmm.
However, Valve, this isn't my news, it's kind of a thing I've noticed. Basically, they've done these packs where you can like pay money to like basically get priority access to different kinds of loot drops and different like new maps that are in rotation.
Operation Vanguard or some shit?
Operation fucking bullshit.
Right.
Is what that
pay
is.
money for nothing. The same shit they have in Dota where it's like,
Well, I paid
buy
for
the Dota Compendium, get a bunch of digital nothing.
I paid for the first one because the way it was framed was that the money it was distributed among the people, the fans who made the crazy awesome new maps.
Yep, that's true. And in Dota 2, when you pay money, it goes into the pot for the world champions.
And unlike Dota, where it's just skin system, this was actual like maps, like really good maps, like CS Thunder quality maps.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But also, it
Can you
lets
just get those maps by joining a server that's playing those maps?
Yes, and basically what
Then
happened
you don't have
was
to pay for them?
Well, what happened was one, the money just went to those people, which is cool. Like,
That's
it's like
fine.
tipping.
Yeah.
But two,
I'll tip people who make Counter-Strike maps.
for the like month or two or whatever that the pass thing was active, basically anyone who paid for it had priority access to a whole bunch of servers they spun up and ran that were only running those maps.
Official Valve servers?
Because very few people run their own Counter-Strike servers anymore.
Really? Because Valve is running a bunch of them? No one needs to run their own?
Yeah, like the people who run them now either run like default ones that don't do anything special, and most people don't go to a name of a server. Like they don't
don't use
join.
the server browser. They just say play Counter-Strike.
But here's what happened now. Because of the loot drops and the missions, and it's all just cosmetic bullshit, people are getting really invested in this, and it has ruined the casual mode of Counter-Strike.
So when you join a casual game of Counter-Strike, people aren't playing Counter-Strike.
People are literally like, no,
They're
man.
just trying to get loot.
No, man. I just need 8 more kills. I don't give a fuck about the bomb.
Yep.
So
This is what TF2 did too with the hats.
Yeah, so you know what? I can't
makes a
play
lot of
casual
money.
mode anymore.
It makes a lot of money for Valve, but it makes the game garbage because everyone's griefing.
So I can't play casual Counter-Strike anymore. I can play demolition mode because at least that mode, because it starts so close to the action and is so quick, it's not as fucked as the casual mode is.
Yeah, well, gun game is okay.
But here's my problem. What I really need is
excuse me, arms race.
is the server that I ran for a while,
Mm-hmm.
except someone else running it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the server I ran, the only reason I got rid of the Geeknights server, like people used it occasionally, and I would use it a lot, but it was a pain in the ass to administer because administering Counter-Strike
Maybe that's why there's so few servers out there.
It's a fucking pain in the ass.
If I worked for Valve, that's the one thing. Like, in Valve, they say you're allowed to work on whatever you want there, right?
I would work on, the interface to run a Counter-Strike
I would work
server.
on making it easier to run servers, starting with Counter-Strike and then moving over to the other ones.
Because basically what I want is a server that follows most of the game rules of like competitive mode servers, but with half as many rounds, you can go through maps quicker and switching teams and the right number of player limits and cool map rotations and basically having a server that's cool, and I don't want to actually run it in any capacity.
Yeah, it's like there's been this history of any game where you run your own server, you then have to get a bunch of community hacks and mods, and they're really hard to install because there's no official way to do it, and you just put a bunch of files in folders and hope stuff works and edit text configuration files.
And like the documentation is just like there is no
and
real
the documentation is garbage, right? Anything that the community feels should be put in. Like NS2 even had this, where you had NS2, and then there were all these mods you had to make to your NS2 server. They should have just changed the official NS2 server to include every single one of these features that the community was adding that was good, right? So that you never had to mod the server. You just push the buttons and start server, and then there'd be a nice GUI configuration that had all the advanced crazy shit that everyone needed to configure the perfect server exactly the way they wanted.
Yep.
Right? And then if you do that, a lot of people will be able to run servers really easily.
So basically what I'm thinking is I'm not going to run a server because, guys, like I'm an IT professional. Like I'm a senior serious
The only thing
IT
harder
guy.
than configuring a game server like this is configuring an email server.
I was about to say email is the only good email is the only thing I've ever failed to successfully run. I don't think I don't think anyone has successfully run good email except maybe Google, Microsoft. Yeah, anyway.
Yep.
So, if any listeners out there run a Counter-Strike server or want to run one just on your own, I'm not saying I'll pay for it, but I might just give you a bunch of money. I don't care really, because they're not expensive to get the hosting. But if you'll manage
it is if you want a lot of players and you want it to be fast.
Yeah, even then it's not. Scott, by our standards, it's not.
And public ones are more money too.
It's still not. The amount of money I was paying for that Counter-Strike server, which was like a pretty high-performance server, you spend more than that on lunch like by Wednesday. For a month. It was not a lot of money. I just don't want to deal with all the bullshit. But if someone has a server and you just want more people on it, I will happily make that also hey, if you're playing Counter-Strike, that's the semi-official all Geeknights fans go play there, so we have our community thing.
And then you have that problem where everyone's online and everyone's looking at the empty server not joining it.
Yep, but then I will do what I did on the other server, which every time I join, I'll just go to the server and invite a bunch of people, and if no one joins me, then fuck you. That's what I do. Anyway, so in the news, there's some Counter-Strike news.
Oh, boy.
There's a good forum thread talking about this. Basically, what happened is at Dreamhack, big tournament.
Yeah, big-time gaming tournament.
Yep.
Has Hearthstone, has everything.
Yeah,
basically.
but we're not talking about the tournament. We're talking about the Counter-Strike tournament at the tournament.
Yep.
The best Counter-Strike players in the world, the competitive, awesome, whatever. And a team was disqualified for, quote, cheating.
They quit.
Well, they quit.
They forfeited.
They forfeited/quit, but arguably that might have been to avoid getting an official censure and all that. There's a lot of drama around this, and there's even conflicting reports. But the gist of it is that there was a team in the final round.
So they made it to the final round without doing anything shady. So they were really good. They're also reportedly a bunch of assholes.
Which I'm fine with. I'm always a fan of the evil team. I mean, Mighty Ducks, I'm a fan of the not Mighty Ducks team.
Yes, you would be. You a Yankees fan too?
I'm more of a Yankees fan than a Mets fan.
You can go die in a fire.
Because I don't care. I'm actually a Tigers fan, so... I either want the Tigers to win or a team near where I live that's not Boston to win.
I like Boston more than the Yankees.
I think I dislike Boston the most, but that might just be because I have more than once in my life experienced Red Sox fans in person.
Yeah, at least they don't actually, like, they'll just say stuff to you and be drunk, unlike, say, Philadelphia fans.
Well, I've never experienced Philadelphia fans. I've
Oh,
never
well, let's go to. Why don't you go to Philly without me
Yeah, why?
and see what it's like? Go to an Eagles game or two.
So basically, they, in their spawn, or near their spawn, were able to jump up onto a crate that no one knew you could jump up onto due to what appears to be a transparent pixel or some little edge somewhere on this model that you could just get your character's foot like just on it, your little like hit detection box.
So these guys discovered this. No one else knew about it, and they must have practiced it in secret, and then they didn't whip it out until the final round. They started using this trick that they discovered.
The first half was one.
And the final round, first of all, this only worked because the final round happened to be on this map. There wasn't a guarantee of that, I don't think, right? 2, they happened to be playing on the side of the map where you could access this thing in the second half of that final round. If they had to play that side of the map in the first half of the round and they whipped out their secret, the other team would have seen it and would have been able to use it against them.
So the first half was won 12-3 by LDLC. That's one of the teams.
The good team? The team that didn't lose?
The second half, Fnatic, which was down.
The evil team.
Yes. Lost the pistol
So
round.
clearly, I mean, they were down, right? They were clearly, by all accounts, they were the second best team there, right? Discounting this trick that they used.
So they lost the pistol round, and then they revealed a new trick. I'm quoting this article. It involves a boost from a counter-terrorist spawn that should be impossible. Nothing to stand on, rogue pixel, blah, 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 blah. So basically, once you get up there, you can see the entire map, including the terrorist spawn location.
Whoa.
So, quote, Fnatic used this spot to enormous effect, turn the score around from losing 13-3 to win the match.
All right.
Nobody knew what to do about this.
So apparently in the year before, in 2013, there was a rule like in the tournament rules specifically like no pixel standing or whatever, This year that was not in the rules. It was not in the written rules this year.
So you know what that'd be like? What if the rules of football, American football, like someone messed up and the official published rules like left off something about lateral passes and no one noticed. And then in the Super Bowl, one team that noticed did it. Should they win the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Yes, exactly. They're playing by the rules. If no one else read the rules, tough. If something awesome and crazy happens, it's sports. It's awesome and crazy.
Yep.
I mean, sports is ideally about the best team winning, but at the same time, I don't care if
the best team is whoever did got victory by using everything they could within the rules. If the rules are broken, that's the game's fault.
Exactly. Now, a lot of people were saying that that this was actually against the rules, but like Scott said, it turns out it technically wasn't. Now, I think I agree with Scott.
Before they could make a decision on whether to disqualify them or not, they just forfeited and let the other team win.
Which, I mean, good on them.
Even though they were supposedly the jerks.
Yep.
Within the spirit of CounterStrike, yeah, that other team was.
Wow, this article is
superior.
great. I'm going to quote the article I was reading from. There is no doubt that Fnatic's players can be unpleasant people.
Yeah, there you go. They probably play Heroes of Newerth as their second
so
game.
So you can read the
Counter-Strike.
full story of this thing, but here's my take on it. 1, there's nothing wrong with what they did. Because 2, the rules of a video game are the code of that video game.
Yes, unlike any real-world game, like a board game or a sport, where you need to have referees or some sort of human, watching and administering and enforcing rules that are just known. Right, a video game and a piece of software. Everything that happens in the game is within that software, and so.
Well. See, because here's the thing: the tournament is a structure built on top of and around the video game that has its own rules, like where people sit, what equipment you're allowed to use.
Sure, you can do stuff like that. Sure.
So
right?
I take a like I agree.
But at
I
least
agree.
things that happen within the game can and should be administered and refereed totally by that
Yes.
software. And if the software is flawed in some way, you should fucking fix that shit before the tournament happens.
Or if it like basically in this situation, what you could do is do it like sports ball. There's referees, and if there's a call that's extremely complicated, they discuss it and figure out, how the rules should be interpreted. Then they immediately explain how they interpreted the rule and how it's all going to go down, and then the game continues. They address it immediately.
Well, the other problem is that if you look at, a mature sport, right, like football, basketball, hockey, baseball, right, no matter what happens on that field of play, there is something in the rule book that you could somehow help, interpret and help you
Yes.
out.
Now,
and
had
even
they
in the real world law, right, no matter what a human being does, there is some law that we can use to determine whether it's legal or illegal or what, but the rules for this tournament were so immature that even if you were judging, you could say, okay, that's what happened. You might just look through that whole rule book and be like, I don't know. It's like there might be nothing that you can interpret because
So
nothing
here's
applies.
an example. What if the rules said that you're not allowed to use a single pixel glitch? What if that was 2 pixels? We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to figure that out? So that rule's bullshit.
Yep.
Now, maybe the rule could be something relatively vague but verbose enough to cover obvious unintended glitches, blah, 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 to be decided at the moment of the infraction by a panel of referees based on the following whatever guidelines about spirit affair. That would have been fine, but they clearly did not have that and didn't have a real way to address this.
Why didn't they just say, hey, look, this map is obviously fucked. Let's play it again on a different map.
There's a million different things they could have done, but this is just esports is still baby's first attempt at this. They're not learning from sports ball, which probably has the most comprehensive and well-written rules in the history of sports.
Yeah, hockey is the best, really.
Yeah, well,
if you
tennis,
couldn't
hockey.
Guess. Well, tennis, the sport of tennis is just so perfect, doesn't need help.
Yep.
But in terms of the officiating technology, right, hockey, if there's any issue, they fucking call Toronto on the phone and they're watching every hockey game in this one room, the same team of people, and they will make all any kind of hard decision that the ref at the hockey game can't make is made at this one place.
And look, they make it immediately.
For every game.
And then they change
You just
the rules
call them on the
every year
fucking phone
if they need to.
Hey, Toronto, yeah, was that a goal? Yeah, all right, cool. They said it's a goal. It's a goal.
Yep. Hey, Toronto, they have a goalie who's literally so fat that they shoved him into the goal and he's blocking the entire goal. What do we do about that? Is that okay? And then they'll decide.
Yeah, I think part of the problem also is that a lot of the esports that happen around the world, there's so many different leagues, right? And you look, sports, each individual sport of physical sport didn't really become mature and big until its leagues unified into a single deal. The other thing is that every sport in the real world, the people who make the sport and the people who run the league are one and the same.
So thus,
the people who make Valve should be running all the CounterStrike leagues should unify and they should be owned by Valve.
In the very least, they should have a base set of guidelines for how tournaments go that Valve administers, but then they can do whatever they want.
But if you look, right, the kings right now of competitive gaming is League of Legends, and that is what they're doing. There's really, there are League of Legends tournaments besides, the one, but the big ones are all run by Riot Games. They run the show. They make the game. The biggest, most important tournaments around the world, they run them. They got it unified mostly. And it's you can have, the same thing with the NFL, right? The biggest, most important football is the NFL. There are other footballs, right? There are other League of Legendses. But the one that matters is made by the same people who run the shit.
There is, in fact, international football, and one year Japan won.
Well, Japan won, I think, every year until the U.S. started participating.
And, yeah. Because the U.S. wasn't...
Basically, the team that goes to play in that is all the college football players who didn't make the NFL, the best of those.
And they're better than the entire rest of the world combined.
Yes. Well, we're not very good at soccer.
No, we're not.
So.
But you know what? We're not the worst at soccer.
No. All right.
So, yeah, you got any news?
I do have a news. So Tekken, which is, in my opinion, a not that good fighting game.
Yeah, but
it's been around for a long time, and it's really popular.
It's not as bad as Primal Rage
it's especially popular in Japan, right? And Tekken has always been known for not being as good as Soul Calibur, but besides that, it's been known because it has a lot of crazy characters in it. It's like a really good arcade game because you're not really good at fighting games. No one knows how to play Tekken. So even if your friend is really good at fighting games and you're not, you can both go to a Tekken machine and mash buttons, and you get to pick the bear, and he gets to pick the block of wood or whatever characters are in there, right? It's like some, samurai guy. It's just so crazy characters. So you have a lot of fun just watching how the crazy characters move and interact, even if you can't play fighting games for shit. So Tekken 7 is coming soon, and there's a new character in it that got revealed called Lucky Chloe, and she's just sort of like a cute, kind of like pink Hatsune Miku hair. Well, her hair is blonde.
Yep.
She's wearing cat ears.
She's wearing a admittedly pretty adorable, like weird sort of cat shawl. It's hard to explain what that thing is.
It's like paws, right, that cover her whole arms, but it also goes across the back. So it's like...
You know what she looks like?
It's like a shirt that only covers the back of you and completely covers your arms and has paws at the end of it.
She looks like a lot of the people I see at anime conventions.
Yeah, it's basically anime convention girl, right? Like roller derby, like knee pads and shoes, but without skates. And then, obviously kind of cheesecake-ish because it's a Japanese game, right? You can't have some covered up woman. That would be, no. So apparently, there are a lot of U.S. people who are complaining. They were like, we don't want no cute girl in this game. It's like, why not? You've got a block of
upon the seriousness of my bear.
You've got a block of wood and a bear and whatever other panda and other nonsense in here. You don't want this girl because why, right? And it's like, I'm not sure if they're being sexist by not wanting the girl, or if they're being anti-sexist because they
I
don't want a perverted naked girl. I don't know why.
I don't get the impression. I was just flipping through a lot of comments and a lot of people who are actually, like, the people who are actually mad about this. They're not mad because that is a bad representation of a woman.
Oh, okay.
They're mad because it's not serious and because it's like Japanese moe crap, anime crap, getting into my Tekken,
You're playing a Japanese fighting game.
Yup.
What the fuck do you think this is?
So, yeah, those people...
So the guy who makes the game, or the primary guy who's in charge of the game, Katsuhiro Harada, he said something along the lines of, "Hello, small world, I'll make muscular and skinhead character for you."
Yeah.
He tweeted, "I'm always serious. If you don't need equal, I don't release them. If you need equal, I'll release. That's all." He commented again, "It's your community's choice. I'm just hearing the demand and request. Anyway, we are so busy because Tekken 7 development is not finished. We are working on arcade version first. I think we have planning time for this issue after development."
You know what? I wish more people who are in the position to speak officially on matters would answer in the way that he answered that.
I think what's going to be hilarious is, he'll be like, "Okay, US version of game, I know put in character like. Okay. Oh, you are all importing Japanese version because it's missing character. Oh, you paying too much money because Japanese version $20 more. Oh, I so sad. No, I not sad. I sell many more copy. Thank you. We always give American bad version anyway. We continue that trend if that's what you want."
So it's interesting because we used to complain, like Tribes 2 was ruined because those guys, for bad reasons, listened to their fans and did the things they requested.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we always used to say, ignore your fans or pretend to listen to them, but don't do what they ask for. I like this response of, "You're morons for wanting that, and here's why."
Oh, you want me to make game worse? Okay, I do that.
Yep.
Oh, what happened? I remember last year when we revealed character, you said, "You know what? Now you want." Oh, too bad.
The first post in this IGN article I found was just a picture of Wood Guy.
Wood guy. This dumb squabble about a Tekken character makes it clear to me why this character exists in the game. Yeah, I mean, I don't get the feeling that the people who play Tekken, right, the Tekken community is among like the highbrow fighting game communities, right? I mean, I bet the people who play Marvel vs. Capcom are probably better than the people who play Tekken.
Where's my Bushido blade? When's
yeah,
that
that's
coming
like
back?
the net runner of fighting games.
Yeah, when's
Only
that coming back?
you make it.
Yeah, I got time for that.
Yeah.
Right alongside that Twitter idea that we've been throwing around. So I don't know if you've seen all those tweets, but the idea is, what if you had an RPG where your character sheet is nothing more but a list of things you can do? You can only ever do any of those things once ever.
So what happens when you run out of things?
Well, one of the things is die,
So eventually you just die?
no matter what.
So, but you could only do the things on that list and then the game would be over. So every game would be pretty much the same.
No, you've got like the list like 100 things, and you play like 4 sessions with these characters, and
You
eventually
get through 4 sessions with only 100 things?
maybe it depends on. I mean, how many times you roll the dice in an average Burning Wheel game?
I don't know.
Yeah, and it's a weird, vague idea that that's even higher priority in the hopper than remaking Bushido Blade. So, things of the day.
Whoa.
This is relevant to later in the show, but this is just a video of Daffy Duck as a wizard in a Slayer's style, and it's pretty cool, and you should learn the lyrics to parts of this song for
Alright.
future reference.
All right. So this is really awesome. Shapeways, the people who do all the 3D printing, whatever,
Yep.
right? Partnered with this people called Nervous System, who I guess design 3D printed and or clothing, fashion stuff. They're like a design firm, I guess. And they designed a dress that you could 3D print. At first, they were just trying to design a bracelet you could 3D print. And, there's a lot of problems involved with that, right? It's like, how do you get something that sort of moves and bends but is printed firmly? And basically, the idea they came up with is, well, you print the thing to be a bunch of pieces that are all linked, right?
Ah.
So it's small pieces that are linked together. So they're all individually, every piece is firm plastic, but once you take it out, it's like, ooh, okay. So instead of just, aiming low and making this bracelet, they made a whole dress. Now, the other problem is the volume of the dress was bigger than the box of the 3D printer. So they took like in the 3D model on the computer, they crumpled the dress up so that it fit in the area of the 3D printer. So it prints crumpled up, and then you sort of take it out and uncrumple it, and it becomes, the full size. And despite being 100% solid plastic, it was actually really kind of awesome. You just got to see this.
Fully expect to see someone wearing this at PAX South.
No, I don't think you'll see that.
Someone's going to wear it at a convention, and we'll see it.
It's not that kind of thing. This is like it went to the MoMA or whatever, or some shit.
Yeah,
it's not the kind of thing that just a normal person can get.
So so they didn't release. I haven't looked at this thing at all. I've seen similar attempts at things, but they've always been relatively small, like a shawl kind of thing made out of plastic.
This is like a work of art that one person made. It's not something that I don't think if you went to Shapeways and said, "Hey, can you print me that dress?"
Yeah.
It might cost a bit, and I don't know. Anyway.
So in the meta moment, we're going to be appearing at the Penny Arcade Expo South, the inaugural in San Antonio, Texas. So on Sunday, January 25th at 4:30 p.m. in the Armadillo Theater.
Ooh, you mean an armadillo?
Depends on where you live.
You are not Mexican.
We are presenting a new and updated version of Bad Games.
Okay.
If you've seen us present Bad Games before, you probably don't need to go to it. We're hoping that people who don't know who we are go and see it.
Mm-hmm.
And
hopefully there'll be a lot of those people in the South.
And otherwise, we're pretty much just going to eat barbecue, play tabletop games, and make fun of the South.
And the Tejas.
Yeah, Texas.
Let's
Tejas.
play.
Tejas.
Let's play.
You're giving me shit for Armadillo, and you say Tejas?
Well, the Titans that live there.
Yeah. There's coyotes out in that territory.
We should bring and play Outlaw in Tejas.
Actually, we should.
Yeah.
Actually, we should set it up on a laptop with 2 controllers and video people playing it and get their reactions, and then run a tournament.
Outlaw tournament.
Yeah. I got spare
or
time.
as it's properly known, Pretzel Cowboy.
Yeah. Yeah, if I'm going to remake a video game, that's what I'm remaking first.
Pretzel Cowboy.
Otherwise, the book club book is Watership Down. I read it a long time ago. You should read it. It's an awesome book.
Other meta things. come find us on the internet. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you found this podcast and you're listening right now, you've already found us on the
But
internet.
at the same time, many people who follow us on YouTube did not realize somehow that we obviously think Gamergate is stupid, like anyone who's smart, and they were shocked when they realized through YouTube that was our opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Because they only followed us on YouTube and had literally never interacted with us in any other way. So you should interact with us in multiple ways. That way you can find out what abhorrent thing we think that you will be offended by and leave.
Yeah, you should also internet more, because interneting is what cool people like us do.
Yes.
If you internet enough, you won't need to listen to this show.
I've also uploaded a whole bunch of video from PAX Australia, which was one of the rare times outside of Kineticons and weird conventions where one of us gave a lecture without the other one. It was just me, because Scott didn't want to fly to Australia again.
We also recorded another episode of Geeknights Presents Utenos.
Yeah, we did. It's
upload that.
I got to edit it together and do stuff to it to hide the fact that because it's in 4K, you can literally see my pores.
All right, well, do that.
Yeah, but yeah, it'll be up soon as I get a chance to put it up.
Okay.
And the last meta thing, just because people asked me a lot about this last year, I'm going to go skiing at Hunter Mountain on Saturday. If you want to go meet me and hang out and go ski, let me know. I'm going to be there all day.
I don't think I'm doing anything this weekend, but if anyone wants to play Netrunner in New York, I mean, I probably already played Netrunner with you.
So, Wizard.
The Wizard!
Scott and I met two awesome smart people at the previous PAX Australia.
The first PAX Australia.
Yes. We went to it. We were walking around, and we were like, we got to find some smart people to play a game with.
Mm-hmm.
We saw two people, and they were looking for a game. So like, hey, you want to play a game? And one thing led to another.
We played Hanabi.
We played Hanabi, which is Smart Person Detector Alpha.
Yep.
And they were smart.
Yep. The smart person detector went ding, ding, ding.
Yep.
It's almost like a dowsing rod, but it works.
So I have to give props to them because Jess and Bane, these two people who were smart, and we hung out with them. I hung out with them again at the next PAX Aus because, like we do, we form PAX-specific posses in every region of the world where there's a PAX. And they brought out a game. And as is the Rim and Scott style, I did what we always do. Really? I've never heard of this game and you want me to play it? Watch how enthused I am. Watch me try to avoid learning this game because I actually just want to play this game that I brought. And I played Wizard, and it was great.
Wizard. So, Wizard is actually a mad old game. It's published in 1984. It is 2 years younger than us.
Yep.
It was it received a nomination for the 2011 Nederlands Spellenprijs, which I guess is the Netherlands game prize.
Nederlander das Spiel des Jahres.
Right, basically, in 2011. So it took that long for the game to be recognized.
It wasn't even published commercially until like 1986.
Right. And then we only discovered it in 2014.
Yep.
So
and of course,
this game is like a game that I guess has just been sitting in the dark and suddenly popped out of nowhere. It's designed by a guy named Ken Fisher, who I never heard of, but I'm going to look him up. All right, in his Board Game Geek picture, he has a hood on that has a gold lining. I think Wizard is the only thing that he makes. It's wizardcards.com is
well, you know what,
official
guy?
website.
If you've only ever made one game, you're batting 1,000.
Oh, no. He's made Isaac Asimov's Super Quiz 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, I think your batting average is dropping.
Or maybe this is just his part of his wish. I don't know.
all right. We'll do lessons
Wizard's
on how to
Wizard's
read.
the only thing we care about. Sorry,
So,
Ken Fisher.
Wizard is interesting because
He actually has the username Wizard on Board Game Geek.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, remember our review of Pendante? Pendante is like if poker were designed today to be fun, it's Pendante.
It's like they take poker and you soup it up with some, Euro game, skills and some modern
and
design.
write rules to it like it's a modern game and all that.
Put some theme on there.
Yeah, and you know what? Pendante gives you 90% of the fun of actual poker without any of the tedium of actual poker.
Right. So Wizard is, Pendante is to poker as Wizard is to whist.
Yes.
/hearts
Or-
/euchre / every trick-taking.
Trick-taking games.
Right. Now-
Wizard is just a Trump suit-following, trick-taking game.
Now, most people who are in the board game nerd community who are looking to play a trick-taking game go straight to Tichu. I have Tichu. I played Tichu. Tichu is not good.
Tichu is not
I
fun.
would rather play Hearts than play Tichu, but I would rather play Wizard than any other trick-taking game I've ever seen.
Well, it depends.
And
because
Bridge is for old people.
So I grew up in the Midwest
Mhm.
where everyone plays trick-taking games.
Mhm.
Everyone knows those kinds of games. You grow up playing euchre and whist and hearts and pinochle and all these kinds of games. I hate bridge. I hate pinochle. I like euchre, but if you play euchre enough, it's a solved game that comes down to cheating.
Mhm.
Hearts is a fantastic game.
Hearts is the best.
I fucking love Hearts. I will play Hearts almost any time.
Hearts is great.
Yes. But much like how when we taught Pendante, or especially when I tried to teach Pendante to a bunch of our friends, I learned that a lot of our friends had never played poker. Like,
Yep.
they didn't know what a flush was. So
They knew what a floosh was.
they were extra surprised by a floosh.
Yep.
And this was the same deal. It was interesting to read the rules to trick-taking because I had never in my life thought about the rules to
Yeah,
trick-taking.
if I had to teach Rim this game, I would say, look, all you have to do in this game is
trick-taking,
it's trick-taking game.
there's Trump.
Trump is the top card that gets revealed from the deck after we deal the cards.
Well, here, you know what? What I'll do right now for you guys, I'm going to teach you the entire game the way I would teach it to Scott.
All right.
So,
But I already know how to play.
exactly, but this is for the listener. So, this is basically just a trick-taking game, but the way you're going to do it is you bid how many tricks you're going to take, and then you play a hand of 1. Then you bid how many tricks you're going to take, and you play a hand of 2. Then a hand of 3.
So
then a
obviously,
hand of
in the
4.
hand of 1, I would only bid 1 or 0.
Yes.
Because it would be impossible for me to take 2 tricks.
Yep. Dealer deals.
Am I allowed to bid 2 even though there's only 1
Nope.
trick to take?
Well, yes, but that's going to fuck you because the scoring is you get 1 point for every trick you take if you bid the correct number.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get 2 points because you bid correctly. So if I bid 1, I get 1, I get 3 points.
So you want to take more tricks and bid correctly, but if bidding correctly is more important because if you're even 1 off from the correct bid, you
Lose a point for
point.
every 1 you're off by. So if I bid 8 and I take 9 or 7, I lose a point.
But if I bid 1 and take 1 and you bid 5 and take 5, you're doing way better than me.
Exactly. That way you can't just be like 0, 0, always taking 0, ducking under.
Even if you always take 0, you're going to play a trump card at some point because you're going to have one in your hand and you're going to take one.
Maybe, maybe not.
And then you're going to be off.
Yeah, because someone else will play the fucking ace. You just duck your trump under that is fine.
No.
So that's the game with 1 trick to it.
3 tricks.
3 tricks.
Yeah.
I was just going to say there are super trump weird cards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's only 4 of each type. There are jesters and there are wizards.
I don't know any jesters.
So the problem is the game is in German, at least the copy of it that we got. So it's Zauberers and Nars, Z's and N's, because that's not in any way visually confusing.
Yeah, because a Z is just a sideways N.
Yes. Well, I mean, 6 and 9 upside down. So anyway, so
That's why you draw a line on one side of it so you know.
a wizard is it is trump and it is infinity. So it always wins the trick.
What if 2 people play wizards
if
at the same
multiple
hand?
wizards are played, whichever wizard was played first wins the trick.
So if I get the first play because I took the last trick and I play a wizard, I get the next trick and everyone else can dump a card
Yeah, so if you lead a wizard,
and clear out a suit or whatever.
there is no suit for that hand.
So wouldn't I want to play my wizards later in the round? Because, I mean, I'm going to take a trick with a wizard anyway.
Possibly.
So if I play it later in the round, I'm basically preventing people from dumping suit early in the
But
round.
you don't want to be in a situation where you don't have the lead anymore, so and then the last 3 people all lead wizard, and then your 4th wizard is just fucked. That could happen. Or you might accidentally take a trick in the mid, and now you don't want to take a trick with that wizard. And then the jesters. They are negative infinity and are not trump.
Nar.
They
What
have
if?
no suits.
So obviously, even if 2 people play Nar, one of the other players is going to take the trick. But what if all players play Nar?
Whoever led that Nar gets fucked.
Oh no!
I've never seen it happen.
I doubt that would ever
The
happen.
day it happens, I'm gonna yell and scream because it's just
Nar,
gonna be
Nar.
so beautiful.
Well, so it says here on Board Game Geek you can play with 3 to 6 players, but there's only 4 Nars.
So it can only happen.
It
with
could
3 or
only
4
happen
players.
with 4 or fewer players.
I think the game is best with 4 players, like all trick-taking games are.
Yeah, if you play with 5 or 6, I mean, obviously,
It's still
the
really
all
fun.
wizard or all Nar situation can't happen.
Yes.
But
So if a Nar is led, then the next player to play sets the suit for the trick.
okay.
So That's pretty much the whole game. Now, if you don't know, if that doesn't mean anything to you, the way trick-taking games work, fundamentally, one, you should go back and listen to our episode on hearts.
Yeah, everyone who is in the game has a hand of cards.
Yes.
Someone goes first. That person plays a card, any of the cards. Cards have a suit and a value.
So whatever suit was played is now the suit for that hand, that trick.
So the next person now has to play one card from their hand. If they have a card matching the suit of the already played card, they must follow suit. That's why, you ever heard the phrase follow suit?
Yep.
That's what that means. So if Rim goes first and he plays a spade, and I have a spade in my hand, I must play a spade. I may not play one of the other cards in my hand. And people, if I cheat, people can figure it out easily and ruin me.
Yep.
Just pointing out. So I had to play a spade. If I don't have a spade, I may play any of the other cards in my hand.
Exactly. So one suit will be determined by some fashion. In some games, players can kind of decide through a process. In this game and in many games, it's just random. And not all trick-taking games have this. But one suit will be determined to be trump. That suit will trump any other suits. So if I played the 10 and Scott played the 4 and someone else played the 2 of the suit that was the trick, then I would get it. I have the highest number.
Yep.
But
and
if
if
anyone...
someone else plays a card from some other suit because they didn't have the appropriate suit in hand,
it's worth nothing.
They don't get to take the trick because it's only you have to follow suit for your card to count as taking the trick.
But a 2 of trump beats the highest number of non-trump.
Right. So it's like if I want to take tricks, a lot of them, I want to have a lot of trump cards in my hand and dump a suit. So let's say I get rid of all the spades in my hand, but I have a bunch of trump cards. Hearts are trump. Then other people still have a ton of spades, and they play them. And on my turn, I don't have to play a spade because I don't have one, so I play my heart cards that are trump, and I get to take those tricks regardless of the value of my heart cards.
Unless
as long as someone else also ran out of spades and plays heart cards that are higher value than mine, right? So because the hearts are the trump. If someone just starts the hand with the hearts, well,
that's awesome sometimes, but you have to follow suit.
You had to follow suit.
So in it like in hearts, well, hearts is an example. So in euchre, if I euchre's not a good example because then I have to explain fucking whatever.
Whist.
So in whist, if I play the ace of trump and I lead that, and Scott only has a king of the trump suit, he's got to just throw it down and lose it.
And it doesn't do anything, even though that is an extremely powerful card.
Yeah.
I was forced to play it and lose it.
So the final rub in Wizard is that you may play a Gnar or a Zauberer regardless of following suit at any time. You can always play one.
Yep, so even if I can follow suit, I can Wizard or Gnar instead. So like if I was in a situation like Rim just said where I have a really powerful card, but I'm going to be forced to lose it, I can just Gnar or Wizard instead and keep that powerful card in my hand and then play it later and get the value from it.
Yep. So the game is great. You can play it with a normal deck of cards as long as you have 8 cards beyond the deck of cards that can be labeled Zauberer and Gnar.
So usually if you buy a deck of playing cards at the drugstore, it's going to have like 2 learn to play cards and 2 jokers. You might need to like get 2 decks of cards with the same back and like take the aces and doodle on them and write Zauberer, and then take some deuces and write Gnar on them or something.
Yeah, do something like that. Or you can just buy, there's a lot of people that make pre-made decks. The one we bought has the
official one?
Has the best, worst art ever.
So the artist is Franz Vowinkle, and the art is simultaneously good and bad. I mean, it's not the worst art I've seen. It's not Sentinels of the Multiverse.
The art is
which
special.
Looks like a child drew it. Sorry, whoever did that, but yeah, it's bad.
The art's special, and if you play with this deck, your players will comment on the art.
Yeah. It's noteworthy, which I think is actually a positive, right? It doesn't really matter for the game, a lot. This is the way it does for like a collectible or, living game.
Oh my God, I just realized what it says on the back. Game contents, 60 character cards, 1 score pad of truth, 1 set of instructions. I love how it's not even branded as a card game. It's the character cards.
Yep.
It has this whole story, and the story in the game is amazingly succinct.
What's the story?
The story is we unearthed Stonehenge and found the game that Wizards used to play back when Wizards existed.
Nice.
Here are the rules.
Dude, that sounds true to me. I believe it.
So if you have never played a trick-taking game ever, get this game and play it.
It says on Board Game Geek that Wizard originated from Oh Hell, or also known as Up and Down the River, which are played with a standard deck of 52 cards, with a proprietary 60-card deck comprising a standard deck plus 4 wizards and 4 jesters. In the first hand, 1 card, and so on and so on. So apparently there was another trick-taking game called Oh Hell, also known as Up and Down the River, which was the game that came before Wizard, but did not have the wizards and Nars in it.
Yep. But then you're getting close to Whist or Gops or all those other kinds of games.
Yep.
But seriously, if you've never played a trick-taking game, get Wizard somehow. And this is the best way to learn trick-taking games, to learn to get good at them, and then, like, it'll be really easy to play Hearts and Euchre and all these other kinds of games.
I think you should just play Hearts first on your Windows PC.
Well, so it's tricky because...
Or Yahoo Games.
What's interesting is
and
that...
then you'll be able to play Wizard very easily.
Hearts teaches you desuiting and ducking and all those kinds of strategies.
Very important things to know for Wizard.
But Hearts has no trump, and Hearts has the card passing mechanics.
Hearts are trump in Hearts.
Well, they're not trump.
Sort of. Right?
No, they're
like
not trump.
They're like reverse trump.
No, they're not.
They are.
No, they're not. They don't count extra for taking a suit.
No, but they're
Trump only means it lets you take a trick that you wouldn't otherwise take. Doesn't
sure,
mean anything else.
But they're the special suit in that you don't.
Yes, Trump doesn't mean
not...
the special suit. They're the point suit. Don't fuck with me on trick-taking games. I grew up in Michigan.
You're being a pedantic nonsense.
If you called that Trump among anyone who plays these games, they would laugh you out of the room.
You'll still be able to easily understand the concepts of Wizard after playing Hearts.
Scott, in America, other than one teaching game, I'm fucking undefeated at Wizard. So don't you even. So, but yeah, Hearts and Euchre are the two like archetypical games. I'd say Whist, but no one fucking actually plays Whist.
Well, people did.
No one modern plays Whist. And also, Euchre is basically just like Whist with a tiny deck. So it's almost like Euchre is almost to Whist what Pendante is to poker as well, in a sense.
It's also Bridge.
Yeah, I hate Bridge, but to articulate why
Bridge is a big deal, though.
I know it is. I respect Bridge, but I don't like playing Bridge. But, so, let's talk about Wizard, because just play it, but strategy-wise...
Oh, strategy-wise, all right.
This is a good game with a very high skill cap.
Right, so I think the thing is...
Playing this with people, with noobs... is like beating babies to death. Like, it's just...
Right, so you look at your hand, and you say, how many tricks can I possibly take with this hand? And the thing is, well, you might have a hand that's got, like, Wizard. Okay, I got to bet at least one I got a Wizard.
Yep.
Then I got, like, 2 high trump cards. Well, I should probably bet...
Scott, I saw a game in the first round, 2 Wizards were in people's hands.
Yep.
So, shit happens.
Exactly. So... let's say it's the hand of 5. You've got a Wizard, 2 high trumps, and 2 mech cards.
Are those mech cards the same suit?
Maybe. Yeah, why not?
If they're the same suit, I'm definitely bidding fucking 4.
How are you going to get 4?
Because I'm going to control with the Wizard, lead my other stuff. The odds of other trump being out in the 5 hand, probably pretty low.
So you think you're basically counting that one of those mech cards will be able to take a trick?
Because I'll be leading it toward the end. And because they're meh, if someone else fucks me somehow and takes control, I'll probably be able to use those trump to get control back pretty easily because the odds of the highest trump being in the game are pretty low. And 2, because I'm desuited, there's a decent chance I can use one of those trump to get back in right away.
See, I would just bet 3 because even if I am able to take one of the tricks with one of those mech cards, right? Know that other people all have 5 cards in the hand. Someone's gonna fuck me when I play one of my high trumps with a Wizard or some shit.
Yeah.
So I basically can't. The advantage I can do if I try to take the tricks versus someone's gonna fuck me cancel out. So I go.
Well,
I go 3.
Here's the real thing. My heuristic there, which was similar to yours, is just based on your hand, which is how, like in Hearts, your hand is the only real core directional.
You don't get to see anyone else's hand. That's all you got to go.
And there's
on.
no bidding, but in Wizard, players openly bid on how many tricks they're going to take in turn order.
Yeah, so depending on who bids first and what they've bid, it's the hand of 5. The first player, let's say Rim goes, he has the hand we just discussed.
If I'm bidding first, I would bid 3.
All right, so he going first, he bids 3. If he's correct, that means among the 3 other players, only 2 people should take tricks. Meanwhile, I'm sitting to the left of Rim. I look at my hand. It's ridiculous luck day. I have 2 wizards. So but all the other cards in my hand are like 2s.
But you know that I'm really confident because I bid 3, not knowing anyone else's bids.
Right. So, but I'm bidding 2. I got 2 wizards.
All right. So the other 2 people either know they're not taking shit, are dumb and bid
Right. So now
anyway.
it's a round of 5, and 5 people have already bid. Well, two people have bid on all 5 tricks. The other guy's holding like a really high trump card. He bids 1. And the other person's got some high trump cards too. They bid 1 or 2.
Now this is where the game gets
So
interesting.
now
or
the
does
people have bid a total of like 7 or 8 tricks out of only 5 available tricks.
Yep.
Someone's wrong.
And funny, sometimes it'll go way under. Like I saw a couple of games where like in one hand the bids will be like 1, 1, 0, and then the fourth person's like 7.
Yeah, they got a really bad hand, but everyone else bid way low. And the other thing is sometimes you'll underbid, right? By accident.
Well, that was it. So in your example, the guy with that high trump, maybe he gets scared away from bidding because he knows, like, all right, these guys got fucking wizards or whatever.
Right.
So he bids 0. So now my shit hand is more likely to win because he's doing everything he can to not take any tricks.
So let's say I'm in a situation where I got a high card of every suit and a wizard. So I think I'm going to take 5 tricks, but I'm pretty sure one of these is going to get fucked over. It's a 10 and not a 13 and green or something. So I'm like, yeah, someone's going to probably pick an 11 or 12 green and I won't get that one. So I'll go under by 1. I'll bid 4. Then as we play, I'm forced to play those high suit cards by following suit, and I end up taking my 4 tricks, and I still have my wizard in my hand.
So the other thing is when the bidding ends, usually you'll see like a lot, like amongst people who are like really smart and good at trick taking games, the bids are almost always within 1 or 2 of the actual number of tricks that are
I've never
available.
been off by more than 1.
Yeah, I was off by 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 toward the end because if you're behind, fucking just bid extra.
Yeah, if you're going to lose, right, then your only hope to catch up is to try to take more tricks. That's another thing. Is like, I'll play a hand and I'll bid 3, and I will take exactly 3 and say, what a good job that was. I got it exactly right, but I didn't get it exactly right. I could have taken 4 or 5 tricks. I just didn't bet 4 or 5, so I chose during the round to not take tricks I could have taken because I bid too low. So even though I got the right number and got the points and didn't lose points, I could have had more points because my bidding was not aggressive enough.
So basically, the game has the bidding aspects of Bridge. It has the trump protection aspects of Euchre, and it has the ducking and desuiting tactics of Hearts.
Mm-hmm.
So it combines a lot of my favorite card games.
It's pretty much everything there is about trick-taking games all in one game.
So it comes with a bunch of variants in the
Plus
rules.
wizards.
Yeah, but whatever.
Wizards.
There is one problem with the game as written. The game does not give you a way to deal with renege. So in Euchre, if you fuck up and you don't follow suit, and then later it's like, oops, I had a heart and I should have played it, that doesn't ruin the game. The rules basically, the rules deal with that. There's a rule for if someone reneges.
Right,
It's
so
called
let's say
renege, or if you live in the Midwest, renege because they just can't pronounce words.
Right, so let's say Rim has a green card in his hand, and I play green, and he chooses to play some red card. He forgets that he had green in his hand. Then we find out later when he plays a green card, and I say, hey, Rim, why didn't you follow that green card on the previous 2 turns ago when I played green?
Yep, fuck, we've ruined the game. No way to fix it.
There's no fix written into the rules
Now,
at all.
I'm trying to come up with a rule that we, as our friend group, is just going to agree upon as the rule for reneges, just so that we don't have to deal with it. Because the fact of the matter is,
I think the rule should be something along the lines of whoever takes that trick should take it according to the cards that were played.
Yep.
But if you are caught, basically you just lose chips.
Yeah.
I'm
trying to figure out a number.
You screwed up.
I'm trying to figure out a number of them.
Right. I think the
and-
number has to scale up as you get deeper in the game. It has to be, the penalty should become worse.
How about this? You lose a number of chips equal to the number of cards.
That might be too much though.
But at the same time,
It also depends on how significant was the mistake you made.
exactly.
It might not have mattered. You would have played it earlier and not taken the trick, and the other card that you did play earlier would have not taken this trick.
Exactly. And also you fucked up
And
everyone else's card counting.
That's
and-
all. Counting cards are very important.
So I'm not sure. And if anyone has any suggestions, discuss in the forum, because that's the only flaw with this game.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is that there's a variant I really want to try, because one thing that Hearts has that makes Hearts amazing.
Shooting the moon.
No. So in Hearts, in the first hand,
Oh, the passing
You
across.
pick 3 cards and pass them to the dude to your left, and the dude to your right passes 3 to you.
Yep.
So I know that I gave this motherfucker 3 spades. So
Yep.
I know he's got a bunch of high spades, and I don't have any spades. It's going to be awesome.
Now sorry, so we can you can easily add that to Wizard as a
Yes.
variant rule, no problem. Here's the question though: do you bid before or after passing?
I think after by default.
Do you?
but
So
hardcore mode is before.
I mean, you could choose the cards you're going to pass, then bid, then see the cards you're picking up. Because remember that you're still getting information from the other people's bids.
Yep. You could also have something cool where like you're allowed.
So it's like
after you get your cards, you're allowed to raise your bid, but you can't lower it. Like something like that. There's this game is ripe for custom.
The thing
house
is,
rules.
with passing cards, people are gonna dump suit like pretty much immediately.
Yeah, that's what happens in
and
Hearts. And
Trump,
you know what happens
Trump
then?
cards become way more powerful.
Yeah,
and you'll be able to take way more tricks if you have any trumps whatsoever.
And you know what? Much like with Dune.
So do you reveal Trump before or after the bidding and passing?
Much like with
the order
Dune,
matters so much.
Even then, Scott, much like with Dune, everybody has that power.
That's correct.
And 2.
But then luck becomes a big factor
But
too.
2, in high-level Hearts play, for example, I would pass my dad 2 high clubs and a middling to low club.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe I didn't desuit myself of clubs.
Yo, you got a low club. I mean, you're going to get rid of that, no problem. You kept the low one.
No, but I gave away a low one to imply that I had gotten rid of all my clubs, and I'm probably some motherfucker who's going to heart and or queen of spades
Right.
someone.
You held one middling club.
Yeah.
That's still not going to take a trick.
Hopefully not. So you get into like the card in high-level Hearts play, the cards you pass themselves are a whole game of their own.
So it's like there's a whole process of seeing your cards, choosing which cards to pass, seeing the cards that were passed to you, and seeing what trump is, and seeing the other player's bids. And so like when in that process, the order that you do the things and when the people bid really changes the game a zillion.
Yep. So if you're an aspiring game designer and you think none of those things sound like a big deal, they're such different games.
If you don't understand why the order of those things changes the game like 10,000%, don't make any games.
And if you want to be good at this game when you first teach it to your friends, 1, play a bunch of Hearts online, but 2, a basic heuristic that a lot of noobs use is guess how many tricks you think you're going to take and go for 1 less than that because you're probably wrong.
Yep. You'll probably get wizarded or something. It's like count the number of awesome trick-taking cards in your hand that are powerful, the high trumps and the wizards and whatever. Take that number, subtract 1, and then try to take that many tricks. And you'll probably beat most people who don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. And we're going to play a lot of games at PAX South, but I think Wizard's going to be it's going to be the default warm-up game or the default 4 of us are waiting for you guys to finish Eclipse before we do another thing game.
Mm-hmm.
Also, at least our thing as came up at PAX Aus is anytime someone plays a wizard, they basically sing that thing from Daffy Duck, "Behold the Wizard, incredible power." That you're pretty much obligated to say that out loud, possibly loudly, every time you play a wizard.
Yep. So link to that in the
much like
whatever.
the posing in Pendante, this game is also right. Floosh!
You know it's a good right. Any good board game, any good tabletop game is gonna have a thing that people say.
Y'all got
right?
a brick? 'Cause
Y'all
I need
got
some wood from my sheep.
That's right. So the fact that people are playing this game going wizard shows a good game.
This has been Geeknights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music, Kat Lee for web design, and Brando K for the logos.
Be sure to visit our website at frontrowcrew.com for show notes, discussion, news, and more.
Remember, Geeknights is not 1, but 4 different shows. Sci-Tech Mondays, Gaming Tuesdays, Anime Comic Wednesdays, and Indiscriminate Thursdays.
Geeknights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Geeknights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.